How's everything? How's the family?
They're good. They're good. I had a little scare with Micah yesterday. He
Oh,
found a marble on the floor, and you're ahead of the story. Yep. And we hear, I was like, and after a couple of throws on his back, the marble flies out of his mouth,
oh
and
my goodness.
no joke, it was like flung out of his mouth. And of course, my heart's pounding out of my chest. I'm got tears streaming down my face. Chris and I were silent for like 10 minutes
Wow.
because we were like, what do you do?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, gave me a little scare yesterday, but I rebuked every marble out of this house.
No more playing with marbles.
But bro, he's 5 years old. Like, I'm thinking that I'm past that age already.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch the wall units, you're gonna spaz. It's like I'm past that. But no, this quarantine life has the boy trying it out. So
Yeah, Hank's like, I got nothing better to do. Let me see
of
how this.
course, let me taste a marble. Oh God, help me.
But now he knows not to try it again.
You know what? That's usually my mentality. I'm like, you know what? Let him fall. Let him, you know, bump his head a couple of times, and he'll
Yeah,
learn. He won't do it again.
exactly.
Yeah. So let's do a podcast on how you should wait on having kids for like 20 years.
So tell me, why should I wait?
No, I'm just teasing. Kids are the best thing. In fact, it's been such a cool season to be with my kids. It's been
That's
really neat.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
great, man. I remember when you were in Atlanta and I went for the camp, and
Yes.
Skylar was like this big, like he was so small.
Yeah. It's so
He's like walking
true.
around in diapers.
Wow. And we were at that camp too. So yeah,
Hmm.
I still remember that. I know
Yeah,
that was years ago.
that was
Yeah,
fun.
in fact, he actually asked for camp earlier. He's a church kid and loves
Yep.
camp. So he was watching some old videos and said, "Mom, we're going to camp, right?" I was like, "Not quite, son."
Yeah, 2021.
Not this year. Yeah, not this year.
Yeah,
But
crazy. Yeah,
this
it's
is
gonna be
so
a while.
great.
It's gonna take a while to get
This
back
is
to
so great.
how it was.
Uh, oh, you mean to like regular things like that?
Yeah, or it just won't be like, because I mean camps are huge. Camps are like 500 students. Like.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, okay? Here's my take on it. Open it up, but you're still going to deal with the parents that are just freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, I'm a perfect example of that. My kid goes to a school at our church. I trust our church. I trust our leadership. I trust our teachers. I trust all of that. There's not a concern in my mind when it comes to the facility and the organization. But I'm not ready to send my kid back.
Well,
I'm
I
just not
feel you
ready.
on that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't feel bad for that because you got parents that are saying, oh my gosh, well, what are you going to do? Keep them at home forever? And no, I know I'm not, but I don't think I'm ready,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I don't know how quickly we're going to
How
kind
old is Skylar?
of. Skylar just turned 8
Oh,
and Micah turns 5 tomorrow.
wow.
May 15th.
No marbles
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
park. No marbles.
Bro. Yeah, no. 8 and 5. 8 and 5, no marbles. We decided to, he doesn't know, but we decided to rent another big old water slide out in the backyard. And
Cool.
Chris is gonna do, those big old bubbles, those bubbles you can do like with that. You ever
Yeah.
seen those big old
Yeah.
bubbles? Yeah, like I
Ones.
guess you can purchase that, but of course my husband is like, I can make this. He's watched every YouTube video. And he went to Home Depot or something, or Walmart, and he's gonna go find the piece that makes these big old.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and it's also supposed to rain all day tomorrow, so it should be fun.
Oh, that's how it is.
Yeah,
Man, something big, and then Florida's like, I don't think so.
exactly. Yeah, whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm good. How about you? Are you good?
Man, yes. Just this is actually my week off of school, and then summer semester starts on
Okay.
Monday. So
Okay.
I'm trying not to use my brain a lot and save it for when I have to do school again with all
Smart.
the papers and discussions and so
Yep.
and one of my classes is actually set like Monday nights and we have to be on Zoom. So um
The whole world on Zoom right now, right?
yeah, exactly. Like and we have to have all these passwords and stuff so we don't get hacked. It's crazy. But yeah, just waiting. Hopefully we get
Wow.
back
But
to
you're
it.
almost done, right?
Yeah, next spring I should finish. I should be done by next spring.
Let's go.
Yes. And then somebody asked me, they're like, "You gonna do your master's?" I was like, "Probably, but not right now. Like, I'm not thinking about that.
That's it.
Just get me off this bachelor's, and then."
Uh, Even though they do say that if you stay on the track and just kind of bite it and just go for
Yeah.
it, it's way better than to pause, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of where I'm at now. Man, I would love to go back, but then you start calculating. You're like,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just
but you,
not
if
much
you're
of
in the mode,
I don't like to have to write papers and do homework and discussion posts, and it's just not for me. School's not for everybody, but I'm doing it, learning. I
yep,
love that I get
yep,
to, study the Bible and then apply it right away in ministry. So that's my
that's
favorite thing
right.
about being in Bible school.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think if I wasn't called to ministry, I don't know what I'd be doing right now, because school, you know what I'm saying? So
Listen, but you act like ministry's easy. Like, oh, well, thank God I'm doing ministry. Hold
no,
on a
it's
second.
not. I'm just I'm in school because it helps me a lot in ministry, and I need
Right.
all the help I can get, But
Yeah, that's so true.
I don't know. I
That's
don't
so
know. I
true.
mean, I did do technical school before this, but I was just like,
Yeah,
let me do something. But I don't know. I just
right.
um. So let me ask you this.
Well, and my big thing, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I remember at Brandon's wedding, Tim was telling us, and he's like, yeah, she does everything. But what do you do at CLC? What do you do? What are you on staff for?
Wow. Well, and it's changed twice, and all for the good, obviously, nothing negative, just because the church has just been expanding and the vision is growing, and Pastor Tom is an incredible leader, and he's just seeing beyond, which is our theme. It's also one of our values. And he's just seeing beyond where we're at. And so I've just kind of been privileged to just be a part of that team there and just kind of help take it from what we're doing locally and just carry it globally. So right now I'm over all of our global impact. And so that's basically what I just said. We're just kind of taking what we've been doing locally and just doing it all over the world. Pastor has a huge heart for the Caribbean and Jamaica and, all the islands there. And then, of course, Ghana and he's also from Vienna. So he's just kind of been all over. He was a missionary. And so his heart is to continue to do that through our church. That's kind of been a mandate for our church. So I'm getting to be a part of leading that team there, that global team. But as of also January of this year, which we had no idea even leading up to the COVID, I took over our PR department as well. And so we felt like the merge between the two was going to kind of be just a good thing for us in the season, just with everything going on. And then the global initiative is really partnered with PR. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm PR director and global impact initiative pastor, whatever you want to call it. The reality is it's a lot of cool work. It's a lot of work, but we're doing something new, something new. It's a new initiative. So that's kind of what I'm getting to lead there. And let's be honest, no one expected the season to hit us. And so just kind of being in this role, everything obviously flipped upside down. So focus really became this whole online and pushing our initiatives harder than we've ever pushed. So it was kind of neat because God had obviously all lined up, just lined up the department for us to do that. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Yep.
So you're a global pastor. You're an international pastor.
Yeah, something like that. Pastor, when Angel, I love Angel. Angel's on our team. Angel Augustine, shout out to him. But it was like a joke in the middle school department because obviously I was with the youth before. So on my last Sunday or something, he's like, Pastor Global. And so just kind of stuck and told the kids that I would travel the world and bring candy from all over the world. And, Amazon, baby.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Especially now. That's cool.
Right. No, but it's been neat. It's been really neat. All that I'm making, because it's really, how ministry is. It has very little to do with the title. It's very much to do with rolling up your sleeves and saying yes to a calling and just going for it, right? So that's why it's like, hey, PR, global, youth, whatever the ministry's been, it's been an honor to be a part of it. And you know, that's just kind of what we're doing. So.
And I saw you hosted Mother's Day, like for the online service.
Oh, I did. So, which is kind of neat. I wasn't expecting to be on camera, but because I'm obviously leading the whole online world that we're in for our church, you know, with the team, I'm getting to be a part of that. And I don't know, I guess they think that I'm okay on camera. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I think I'm probably the worst one. I say all the dumb things and the guys have to cut it out, or we have to act like it didn't happen. So yeah, but I did. I hosted the Mother's Day service with Elena, my girl Elena. It was awesome. It was fun. And it was different for us because we did a service outside. We've never done that before. So
before we talk about a lot of other things, let me ask you this. Why, and I know you love it so much, but why do you love kombucha?
So, you know, I was prepared that you were going to bring up kombucha somehow, right? So I actually have something that's going to blow your mind.
Like, you talk about it so much. I remember you introduced me to it. You introduced me to it like if I can marry it or something. You're like, this is kombucha. This is how you drink it. This is what
I will talk about kombucha and my love for it, but this was a gift. Now it says, I don't know if you can see, so it says, save water, drink kombucha. Okay. This thing is massive. Look at the size of my face. I mean, it's huge.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this was a gift from our friend Daniela. She's one of the youth leaders. And so at our Christmas party, she blessed me with this incredible gift that she got ordered. It was It's a custom thing from or something. Anyway, had to show you this because I'm like, this is how deep my passion for kombucha is.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's passion. That's exactly what it is.
Listen, it is so real. Honestly, you know, I've been a health nut for years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything related to health, I'm on it. I love it. I live this thing. It's my lifestyle. So it's not, I'm trying to throw out this cool little, I just live this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. I love it. Anything healthy at all. And then the kombuchas, I was afraid of it at first because I kept hearing of this taste and it just was weird. And I'm like, well, if it's got probiotics on it, I take enough probiotics. Why do I need it? But I jumped on it. Okay. Jumped on it. You've got to, and someone taught me well, you've got to jump on the right flavors. So I'm a big GTS kombucha. I'm still waiting for them to sponsor me. I've done everything. Listen, I've done everything that I possibly can to tag them. They've sent me these hearts and thumbs up all the time. And I am tired. You know what? Let's stop this for a second. I am tired of asking these people. I'm so teasing.
Kombucha, sponsor her.
Kombucha, bruh. But you know what's funny? I'm rabbit trailing. A friend of mine did say that the more I ask, the more they're not going to do it because I'm giving them free advertising. Like, why do they need to sponsor me? So I'm doing it the wrong way. All right, back to the track. I love kombuchas. They are, they're super healthy for you, okay? For your digestive system, for your blood flow, the probiotics. It is such a good drink. And I'm a water drinker all day. That's all I drink. Okay, water and minerals in my water. That is what I drink. So sometimes to have something different, the kombucha is usually my go-to. So I like it. I have one a day, basically. So, I mean, it's like the Starbucks drinkers out there. You know, they have their Starbucks once a day or their Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. I'm your kombucha girl once a day. I mean, usually sometimes in Zoom calls, I have to push it away because it's always part of something. But
if you see Fab, you see kombucha.
Thank you. Oh, I'm a hoodie girl too. I love hoodies. That's why I wore my hoodie today. But yeah, I'm waiting for like my kombucha hoodie.
So if you had to pick between kombucha and your kids, what's the pick?
Wow, that is such a bad question. No, you can't say that. My kids all day. But kombucha. Oh my gosh, what a bad question. No, you can't ask me that. You're breaking this mother's heart.
It's a trick question.
No, very trick question. You're breaking this mother's heart.
Oh, no, so you're saying you're a fitness junkie and you have been for a while, which you have been. How has that helped you with your, your mental health, your emotional health? How does one's physical health, I'll put it like this, one's physical health help them, overall with their self and in every other way.
I think people underestimate how powerful exercise really is,
Mm-hmm.
because people usually see exercise for weight loss, right? I need to lose weight, I've got to exercise, or I ate too much, I've got to exercise. And to be honest with you, weight issues, 80% of it is diet. Okay, at the end of the day, it's just diet. 80% of it is diet. You
Yeah.
can't outwork just bad eating, so I'm really, really big on working out. And yes, to stay fit, okay, I don't want to, lose track of my fitness, but you don't understand what it does for you when your blood is circulating well, what it does to trigger the right, cells in your brain. And I'm not even into science. I'm not going to sit here and try to give you all the science stuff. I've lived this thing. I know what it does for my stress. I know what it does for my mind games. I know what it does for my confidence. I know what it does for my proper rest. People don't sleep enough. So like all of that is all tied together. And I think we really undervalue the power of exercise, that it's not just meant for weight loss, it's meant for you to be healthy. That's it. And in this whole quarantine life, there were days, or probably even in the beginning of this whole thing, for probably the first 2 weeks, there was no time to work out. And for me to tell you that there was no time, because I made time for it, there really was no time. But even if it was, and the guys on my team will attest to this, because I've told them many times, and one time they were here at my house, I made them all do it with me. But even just going outside for a walk, yeah. Now, we're blessed to be able to live just half a mile from the beach. But I will walk in the house sometimes so stressed, and I'll say, put your shoes on. And the boys already know now, Chris already knows, and it's just our way to go outside for 20 minutes and come back. Yeah. We just undervalue the fact that that is doing so much good for us in your thinking process, in the way that you operate, and all of that. I don't know. It's like I was trying to think of some technical word. I don't have one. It's like a compound thing that it's a must.
Yeah.
So beyond the weight loss, it does such a powerful thing for especially stress, especially anxiety, all those things. It plays a big part, and you gotta make time for it.
That's good. You talked.
Are you working out? That's my question.
I am working out. Yes.
Thank you. Just making sure. Don't lie to your people now.
I'm eating right and drinking right. I'm
Come on.
I'm in the Word, the living water.
Let's go.
Got to do it. Got to throw that Jesus juke in there.
Check it out.
But you said a word. You said proper rest. What does proper rest look like?
Ooh, great question. Resting, usually people associate that with sleep, right? Well, I don't sleep. I sleep 3-4 hours. And I used to say this too. I've trained myself to operate off of 4 to 5 hours of sleep. You can. It's not the best thing, but you can. I really believe I've done it in seasons. You can train. Not the healthiest thing at all. But rest is beyond sleep. Okay. And I finished the book. In fact, I'm diving into another one. I've got a couple of guys on my team too that's doing it, but I'm an Audible girl, but hold on a second. I'm gonna pull it up. Subversive Sabbath is a great book. And then there's another one too on rest. I don't have to pull it up because I don't have it up on my Audible. I just started it. So that's why I'm kind of looking into it. It's a phenomenal book on the Sabbath, and we really, really don't understand how to rest properly.
Yeah.
Rest is really, those are your breaks. Those are your mental breaks, right? That's your moment to process. That's your moment to think. And I think that people are running right now on E, it's a term that's thrown around a lot. Well, I have no energy, I have no time, and this and that, or they're making just bad decisions because they just don't stop to think.
Yeah.
They don't stop to process. Like, what was that? What did I just walk through? What did that do for me? Like, we live in this fast-paced lifestyle that there are no breaks. There's no proper rest. And rest, sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm resting and I'm exhausting myself in front of the TV, or I'm exhausting myself in front of this, or sometimes it's just rest from people, but you're constantly around people. You've got to find out, how do you refuel? And the refuel has got to come from proper rest. If you're an extrovert, you may need to kind of be away from people, or people fuel you. Like, everybody's different. If I list all the things that I do to rest, you may look at it and be like, no, that stuff will wear me out.
Mhm.
But you know what? And you may do something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll never get rest out of that. Well,
Yeah.
what is rest for you? That means that this disconnects from
Mhm.
the ordinary things and just allows your brain to stop
Yeah.
and to pause. You know what I mean? And reflect. And that's proper rest.
Yeah, and I think also we can say that you can rest while you exercise. So going out for a walk, like you said, with your husband and the kids, you're resting your mental state.
Right.
You're releasing all that stress. You're not thinking about it. You know, the wind's hitting your
Right.
face, the sun is out. You're
Yeah.
not just sitting in front of a computer. You're not just sitting in an office, and that helps. It helps a lot. Um,
Right. Right.
we,
Well, and not to be, you know, not to dive so deep too, but you know, I think oftentimes here we are asking, Lord, what's your will for my life right now, and what should I be doing? What should I be doing? And He's trying to speak in those silent moments, but
yeah,
we're so bogged down with everything that you're constantly asking God the same question, and He's like, I've been trying to tell you, would you just stand still? You know, there's a scripture out there that I believe says, be still and know, and,
yeah,
you know, rest in me. Like all these scriptures that we read, but we don't take it in, realizing that He'll speak,
yeah,
but He often speaks in those silent moments where His voice can be heard. But His voice is hard to hear in the midst of the chaos, and in the midst of you properly, you know, you improperly making room for Him to speak.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's like your kids know your voice. So if
that's right.
somebody else tries to tell them something, but then if you tell them something, they're like, "Well, that's my mom. I know her." So us
Yeah.
stopping, resting, letting God speak, we'll get to know His voice. And
Right.
when the storm does come, like Jesus, He was asleep in the middle of the storm, not because He didn't care, but He was at peace. He knew it was
Hmm.
gonna work out. He knew everything was gonna be good. And
That's
and
right.
we can be like that too, as if we know the voice of the Father.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
right.
how has your fitness life and your physical health, um, being a healthy person, how has that helped you do a lot in ministry? You know, your global, your PR, all this. You know, you're doing so much. How has that helped you? You know, do so much because there's so many people that are like for me before. You know, and I've learned to set boundaries, but I was saying yes to everything. Yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll do this, and like kind of like trying to put my name on something like, yeah, I did that. And it wore me out, whether, I was fit or not, it wore me out mentally.
Right.
So how do you kind of apply that? Like you're fit and you can do a lot because of that.
Yeah. Well, and you tapping into my brain that goes kind of two ways, because obviously the fitness, the healthy part that I talked about earlier, just exercising,
Hmm.
gets my body in a place where I can sustain longer than the average person, right?
Yeah.
And that's not meaning I'm going to outrun you, I'm going to outlift you, but I'm going to outwork you. I may
Hmm.
outthink you.
Yeah.
I may do those things that we don't think about because, you know, you may not see that I'm outthinking. You may not see that I'm strategizing more, that I'm able to see loopholes and things where you may just be so bogged down. You haven't had the proper rest. You haven't eaten in 6 hours.
Yeah.
You just operate. You haven't drank any water. So like you really don't understand how much that plays a factor in your everyday. You could be in a meeting where you probably have exactly the right words or the right strategy for that moment and for that season, but you're so tired that nothing comes out of your mouth, or you can't
Hmm.
even think straight, or the meeting went for 3 hours and you basically tapped out at probably 45 minutes into the meeting and you
Yeah.
never made it to the end.
Yep.
And so I think that those are the moments that and honestly, even in this season, there's been a lot of unpredictable things. The
Yeah.
uncertain hit us bad. A lot of people were not prepared, right? So I know for me, I can speak for myself. We got pulled into meetings. I mean, we were working 12, 13, 14-hour days all day long. I knew that that wasn't going to be a forever thing, but in that season, thank God that I had the discipline to know every 2 to 3 hours you eat. You
Yeah.
know you're not running down to a restaurant or anywhere else to get food. I pack bars in my bag. I know that sometimes I would even forget on my phone. I would say, Siri, remind me to eat at da da da, whatever that time is. That sounds dumb to some people, or may sound like, are you kidding me? That's so silly. But it's those things that sustain me,
Yeah.
knowing that, hey, I don't want to go 6 hours into a meeting or 6 hours into recording with the guys and not eat or not carry my water with me. You know what I mean? But those are things that until you develop the discipline before,
Good.
in the moment, you're not going to quickly turn to it. In the moment, it's going to sound silly. You're going to look at me and be like, what? Well, I
Yeah.
just haven't eaten all day. I haven't had the time. I'm like, that's not me. And I'm not any better than anybody, but you've got to develop those things. So that whole discipline and the fitness in that kind of got my brain to do that. But then there's also another side that you're saying, hey, saying yes to everything and taking on too much. That's a whole nother healthy side of my brain, the discipline and in just my workflow that has helped me not to operate in that aspect. And you know, one thing that's helped me in that, I don't know if you've ever, you know, you probably have even thought of this, but sometimes for me, if I feel like there's a lot coming my way, I immediately have to analyze, okay, what's the vision right now? And that helps me to figure out what are my priorities? Where do I need my attention? What do I maybe need to let go? Maybe give it to somebody else. And then what do I really need to say no to? Exactly. We're just afraid to do all that because of what you said. Well, no, I mean, but I want to be a part of that. Like, I want to be the one to do it. I want to be the one to lead it. I want to be the one that had the say in it. I want to be the one. And listen, we'll never move forward that way. Exactly. Never move forward. One of our values at the church is we is greater than me. And in this season, David, if it were not for the we would not be where we're at. Yeah. And that's one thing that's been really huge, you know?
Yeah, that's good. I was taking a course or doing a training, 3-hour training for work today on Zoom. And Zoom is like
Zoom, baby.
you use, you got to have the word Zoom in there, like, but
$1 trillion company over here.
Yeah, exactly. I should have invested stock in it. But they were teaching us about, it was a curriculum they were teaching us so we can eventually teach it to the students that when we're in the schools. And it was about money and financial literacy and stuff. And one thing I've learned is to separate your needs from your wants, you know, when budgeting, and don't spend money on whatever you want, but what do you need? And while you were saying that, I think we can do that for you know, our life, and prioritize things at work. What do you want to get done, but what do you need to get done? What needs to get done, like you said, for we, not just for me, because those things that's the priority, and that's what needs to get done. And then, you know, I mean, there's people out there that I know that have a side hustle, and it's caused them to in their full-time job, their 9 to 5, to kind of get weaker in that because they want to put more focus on it. And it's like, listen, you want to invest in this, you got to do double the work for now until you're full-time in your you know, in your passion, in your hustle. And so, man, that's good. Just prioritizing is a good.
And I'm really big on connecting the dots. So for instance, if you don't have a healthy mindset, okay, if you're not in a good place to think properly and to process properly, it's hard to to put yourself in a good space to determine where does my focus need to be or not.
Yeah.
Because when I am a mess up here, I can't operate properly. I really can't. I'm not organizing my thoughts. I'm not going to be organized in my hands, in my work. And it all starts here. I'm really big on the processing, the organizing, and the understanding on the behind the scenes of here before it even comes out to here. Because oftentimes I will say no because I clearly understand, hey, I don't care what that looks like. And some people may not even understand why I'm saying no to that. But it's not important that they don't make sense. It's important that it makes sense to me.
I mean, yeah.
Because for me, they don't know my life. They don't know my kids. They don't know the prices that I'm paying. They don't know what my responsibilities are. People just don't know that. But if I'm not in a healthy mindset to bring that kind of a confidence, I'm shaky. And then honestly, I'll be honest, you kind of give control of what you are supposed to do to somebody else. All of a sudden, your yeses to everybody, or your yeses to things that in that season was not meant to be a yes. It was meant to be a pause because your attention is supposed to go here. That totally now messed everything up, and you're out of sync. It's like you don't know where to go from that point. And it all starts with here. You know, it all starts with you. You lose your clarity. You lose your focus, right? You lose where you're supposed to go. And sometimes, again, more, you know, what they say, less is more, right? Exactly. You know, so I'm real big on saying, God, give me clarity. If it's one thing in this season, it's one thing. I'm good with that. Yeah. If it's 2 or 3, because here's one thing that I have learned: the more that I'm really particular in that, the more He entrusts me with more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, He's like, you know, I really sense it. You know, it's my sense of humor with Him. He's like, okay, girl, I got you. Here, one more. You know what I mean? Exactly. So I just want to be entrusted with more like that. So.
Yeah, and it starts with, if He could trust you with something little, and then more and more, He'll just keep adding, you know, and God knows what you can handle. And if you try to handle more, it's not gonna be good. Let's talk about transition real quick. You've been through transition before. I've been through transition. I don't want to say it's not the funnest place to be, but being rooted and placed somewhere is definitely great. But you've transitioned from state to state, not just organization or church, but like one state to another, which any state that's not Florida is way different than Florida. Like, don't snow here, and you don't know what it's gonna be. You gotta wear your rain boots and a hoodie and some gloves and your sunglasses and a tank top. Like, you gotta be ready for the day because you just don't know. But how can, and I know everybody goes through transition differently, and depending on how it went down and where they're going, how they left, how they're coming. But what are some things people can learn in transition? Like, if you're in transition, whether it's from an organization to another, a church to another, a job to another, from part-time to full-time, what are maybe some things that you've done or that you've learned that maybe you can help somebody? Hey, if you're about to go through transition, think about this. Get ready to experience this.
Yeah, the transitions is something that I actually love to talk about, because a lot of people, I think, do it in a way that ends up hurting them, and it wasn't meant to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment, yes, I've gone through transitions that were incredibly painful, that I never in a million years would want anybody to go through. What it's done for me mentally and emotionally, and what it's done for my family and all of that. But the reason why I started saying I love talking about transitions is because my greatest lessons have been from transitions.
I agree.
And the person that I am today is because of transitions, because of the hard times, because of the pain I've gone through. And so I love talking about it, not to relive it, but boy, to reflect and say, David, I am who I am today because of all the crap that I've gone through.
Yeah.
And they say usually it's all the junk you go through that makes you better. But I made a decision, though, to allow it to shape me in the right way. Yeah. And not to shape my mind in the negative way, because I've known people till this day that have faced transitions in their lives, and till this day they carry bitterness. Mm-hmm. They lost track of focus. Yeah. They lost their purpose, all because one transition messed them up. Wow. And that is probably, again, and honest, it's interesting. I have a friend, Parker, he's a DYD up north somewhere, and he had me do a call with his interns, and I shared on transitions. Yeah. And I loved it because it was like, I said the same thing. I said, guys, I love talking about this because these are the moments that truly shape you. Yeah. Now, we talk transitions like in ministry, right? So, okay, transition in ministry is painful and all that, but I've done transition just in corporations, working from one company to another, or like you said, literally, a year and a half into Chris and I being married, we just picked up and moved away from Florida and went to Georgia. Like, I transitioned from high school. So I've transitioned in many ways. Yeah. Coming from Brazil as a little girl, not knowing what life was going to look like at 8 years old. And my dad saying, hey, we're not going back to Brazil. And I'm going, what? Mm-hmm. So like transitions it's part of everyone's life, but the choice to do it the right way or to have right perspectives in them, that's the key. And if I could teach anyone, it sounds terrible. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to just share life. And if it blesses somebody, awesome, right? If it doesn't, no worries. Take it for whatever it's worth. Mm-hmm. But the transitions have shaped me. And I think the key thing is understanding that there's way more to the picture. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean where it's saying I'm trying to get anybody to negate their feelings of how they're feeling in the transition, because the feelings are real. The pain is real. I remember going through different transitions where people would just say, oh, you'll be all right. And it's like, dang, like I'm hurting. I know I'll be okay, but let me hurt for a second because it's painful. Like, don't act like it doesn't hurt, because it hurts. Yeah. It hurts to lose people. It hurts to lose your job. It hurts to, lose friends and, not know what your life is going to look like. That stuff hurts. It just hurts. But there's always a bigger picture. Always. So I'm here to my hair all over the place. There's always something bigger. Yeah. God always has a plan. And sometimes it has very little to do with you, but it has very much to do with this big, big picture that you can't see. Yeah. And he doesn't want you to screw it up. He wants you to trust him.
Yep.
He wants him to say, hey, I know you want to know the what and the how and the when, but I just want you to focus on the who.
Exactly.
Bro, that changed my life. And in those moments, you're like, but God. And he's like, yeah, but God, I got it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the hardest part is it's positioning yourself to perspectives, understand that, okay, yeah, this hurts, but there's way more to this. God, you have allowed this to happen for a reason. So for whatever that is, what is it? And the second thing is this: honor, honor,
Wow.
honor, honor, honor. That is probably one of the hardest things to do, is to know that maybe something was done wrong to you and you have to honor, because that is what God calls us to do.
Yeah.
Is to honor, is to love, is to still show the fruits of the Spirit through all of that. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Again, I could sit here and talk to you about all the logistics of it. Oh my gosh, moving my family and doing this. And is it painful? Absolutely. Do I ever want to go through things that what my kids have seen and what my husband and I have seen, the tears we've cried together and the pain the anguish, all that? Boy, yeah, I can sit here and list a bunch of stuff. But there's some, going back to what I told you right here, there's some practical things in here that if we can get ourselves in a good place, I'm telling you, no matter what comes your way, you'll face it, and you'll face it strong.
Yeah.
And courageous and firm, you know what I mean? But honoring is really big. You honor because God will honor you for that.
Exactly.
In understanding perspectives, there's way more to this. There's more. There's a reason why. Sometimes, I remember one particular transition. I was so upset. I was like, God, I don't understand. It makes no sense. I kept saying, I'm like, it makes no sense. Why? Why would this happen? It makes absolutely no sense. No sense. And as passionate as I am with you is how I would be with him. And anguish. I'm like, it makes no sense. Why would you do this to us? Why? And questioning why. And then later on, and sometimes he'll show it to me pretty quickly. He'll reveal it later and you're like, oh, wow, if I only knew. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Those aha moments. Sometimes it's much later. But in this particular moment, he showed me pretty quickly, maybe a couple of months later. And I went, oh, Jesus. Thank you. And then literally I'm over here thanking him for the moments I was like, no, God, why did you do that? You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it's gone to show me it has very little to do with me. If I trust his plan and his will, it's going to play out way better than how Fab's plan is going to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think transition is a season that you're not going to be in transition your whole life. And that's one thing I learned when I stepped down as youth pastor. I was, the next day I was like, man, when am I going to get back? When am I going to be in ministry again? When am I going to serve again? When am I going to, be in full time again? When am I going to be a pastor again? And I was just like, just kind of like wanting to go back, like almost like, man, I shouldn't have done it, but I knew I had to. And I was like, you know what, it's not going to last forever.
That's right.
And opportunities came here and there, and I was like, this is my season. This is the season I'm in. This is the season that I talked to God about, and that I made a decision. I said, this is what I'm going to do. Not for a day, not for a week, but until I'm ready. Yeah. And I think one thing we got to learn when it comes to transition is it's only for a season, and you'll be stronger. Like you said, perspective. What you go through, all the tears, blood, sweat, tears, it's going to make you stronger. And it's going to make you better. Right. And I can tell you that every transition I've been through, at the end of it, I've been better. I've been stronger, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and, hopefully physically as well. Right. And work on yourself. Take that time of transition to work on yourself. So right. You're going to be a better person, not just let it make you, but like make it make you,
That's right. That's right. It's a choice. At the end of the day, it's a choice.
Yeah.
And so I could choose to, again, be kind of like that friend that I described to you that till this day bitter, could care less, talks bad about that season, that transition and all that. Or I can make the choice and say, listen, I learned from that. And it's crazy because as you were just sharing your story, I'm like, man, I can still close my eyes and imagine sitting in environments where it was toxic or they said things to me that I was like, wow, or their leadership almost like rubbed against me that I had to learn how to operate around that. Mm-hmm. But had I not been in all those environments, I wouldn't know how to cope with the ones that I would see again in different seasons.
Exactly.
It shaped me. It taught me, oh wow, I've been around that personality before. This is how I would handle that. Oh wow, I've seen someone lash out like that. Don't respond that way because I know it can go negative. Like it just, you know what I mean? It's every transition is a training ground. That's it. If you can see it that way, everything's a training ground. So don't ever get comfortable. Don't ever get comfortable. Don't ever feel like, hey, I'm good, because once it comes at you, it will shock you. It's like this whole COVID thing that happened to us. I'm like, it shocked the world. And so it's like, hey, just be ready, be flexible. Understand that at any blink of an eye, we could lose our jobs, we could lose all security, we could lose everything, but we're gonna be okay. Learn from that, adjust, and move on. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So. Good. Now, before we end this and finish, what are some things you've been learning during this quarantine?
I'm really big on self-awareness. And so I'm learning a lot of new things. I'm learning new levels of patience. And I don't mean like I'm impatient with people or I'm short or anything. It's just not my nature to do that. But I'm learning patience in the Lord differently. Yeah. Because I usually I'm just the way I'm wired. You know, I strategize a lot. It's just kind of part of my role, part of my job. And I love that. Honestly, I take great pride in that because it's just the way that the Lord's wired in my brain. So I love to strategize and to process. And so, but sometimes I can see things, and, you know, obviously discernment too. I can see things way ahead. I can see things already kind of where it's going to go. And I want to move at that speed. And sometimes in this season, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that self-awareness to know I'm showing it to you, but it doesn't mean that it's going to play out as you're envisioning it. Wow. So I'm entrusting you to see it, but now my patience has to be, oh, so you show me that, but now I've got to take a couple steps and help now lead the team. So it's the second thing to that would be, it's helping me to lead differently. Cool. So it's kind of been neat to see that it's kind of stretching my leadership a little bit to know, hey, sometimes again, you're going to see these pieces that the team's not, and they're not wired to see it that way. Yeah. So now you are going to have to lead them to get them to see it that way. So it's kind of been neat to just kind of do that in that self-awareness. And another one that's kind of light on a fun note is I never in a million years thought that I could work with my husband because our personalities, you know, we're such like strong personalities that he's like, we're going to do this. I'm like, no, we're not. We're going to do this because we're strong leaders. And so it's like, we put it together, but no, you know what? We would kill each other if we ever worked together. And in this season, it's been really cool that we've had numerous nights of dreaming up some new things because we've actually been putting our hands into things that we always talked about doing, but we never had the time, right? Yeah. And not that I've had a lot of free time. I have not had a lot of free time, but God has allowed it to come through. And honestly, I've loved it. Where I'm like, wow, I don't want to do this with anybody else but you, which is neat. Mm-hmm. And please, it sounds terrible, like, you know, my marriage is in trouble and I'm dying over here, any counseling or whatever. I probably do, but you know, that season's been really neat now that I'm like, wow, I love this. I want to pick this up, and Chris and I are going to crush this thing, and I love that. And if it were not for the season, I would never have said that, or never have even entertained that thought. So it's been kind of neat. So that's cool. And I'm drinking a lot more kombuchas. I'm still doing
I'm sure. Now, do your kids love it and your husband love it as much as you do?
Kombucha?
Yeah.
All right. So Micah is the funny one. So Micah will go to the store and he will run to the fridge that has it. He already knows every store that I go to, it's there. I mean, not every store. It's usually the Publix, the Sprouts, the Whole Foods or whatever. So like he knows exactly where they are. So it doesn't happen often. Sometimes he's with me. One time, a couple weeks ago, he just took off. And I'm like, Michael, where are you going? He comes back and he's holding the kombucha. But I'm also scared because you know that you drop that kombucha, it explodes. Yeah. So bad idea. No. So he comes back, oh, Michael, be careful. But they know that I am such a passionate kombucha lover that especially my Micah, I go into a store, he runs straight to the fridge to go find the kombucha.
That's awesome.
It's funny. So anyway.
Now, how have you guys been managing your kids? Because like Skylar has an Instagram and he's, would you say 8? Micah's grabbing the kombucha. Like how have you guys been managing your kids now that you're both going out to work and then maybe seeing them after or whatever?
Jeez. No, well, Skylar, I finally got him to kind of zone in and focus like on two things, because he wants to be a DJ, he wants to rap, he wants to dance, he wants to beatbox, he wants to do challenges, he wants to be a YouTuber, like he wants to do all of it.
Just wait
And
till
I love that.
he's gonna do like 18 categories, you know.
Right. Oh, human video. He does it all. I mean, does it all. Sounds like I'm beefing up my kid, but you know him. He loves this stuff. So I said, baby boy, listen, you want to do it? And at the end of any video that he does on my phone, he's like, hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm like, what channel? You ain't got no channel? And so Chris and I have had to start, his little YouTube channel, because he keeps telling people to subscribe to his channel. I'm like, what channel? What are you talking about? He's like, make sure you hit up the follow button. And I blame that on Angel too. So like, another shout out to Angel again, because Angel Augustin is the one that creates all those graphics and pushes him on social media. But anyway, so yeah, that's my little Skylar there. He loves to do all that. He's of course doing online, the Zoom distancing thing or whatever. It takes him 3.5 hours to do a page and a half of schoolwork, because he gets so distracted and he wants to do a video all the time. And then Micah just hops around, he's like my little Power Ranger around the house. So yeah, it has not been easy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my personality, of course, is to just dramatize things and to make it as fun as possible, because I'm happy that way. But no, it's not easy. It has not been easy to juggle all that, but we're making it. We're making it.
That's it. We're getting through it.
We're making through it. We're making through it.
Oh, yeah.
So until we find out what's this next phase 2 of this coronavirus, are we back to work? Are we not?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my hairdresser to open back up and cut my hair. Father, come on.
Man, shout out to my cousin. He's a barber. I just go to his house real quick.
Thank you. Listen, when you posted that on IG, I was like, does he cut women's hair?
I went when quarantine first started and I got a haircut, and everyone was like, man, I can't wait for barbershops to open. And I went live as I was getting a haircut. People were like, man, you're bragging. You need to stop. Like, I'm going to block you, man, because I need a haircut so bad, and you're over there again.
Haters always going to hate.
But hey, thank you so much for
You're so welcome.
Conversating, having some conversation.
Yeah, I want to applaud you. I love what you're doing. I am so proud of you. As you mentioned earlier, it's been years of me knowing you and your family, and I love you guys. You Durans are probably one of my favorite families in this world. And yes, you're fun people, but you're go-getters. Nothing stops you. And I think that's what I love about you. When you ask me to do this, it is an honor to do this. Not because I have anything good to share, but just because I get to be part of what you're doing. I literally get to celebrate you and to get everybody on board with what you're doing. Yeah. So I'm proud of you. This is going to literally bless so many people. I cannot wait for all of these podcasts that you're going to put out, because it's going to be amazing.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in me, for encouraging me.
Absolutely.
And for being first.
It's just because my name is Fab, that's all. It looks better to just put Fab, that's all.
So we have a Fab podcast.
Oh, right.
One last thing, Kombucha, sponsor her, okay? You will get a lot more money. You listen, she advertises you so much, so
I know. And it's funny that I actually don't have one here that I would be drinking, but I'm tempted to do Zooms with the background of kombucha, GTS.
Yeah. Next time we have you on here, it's going to be kombucha, and you're going to have like 3 bottles, and you're going to have the hoodie.
Hey, listen, we're about to do a raffle right now, or we're going to do a giveaway. Go ahead, sign up in the chat. We're going to give you a kombucha coming at your door. Then I'm going to have Salo, your brother, with the mask, knocking at the doors. Legacy love. Legacy love with the kombucha. Yeah, I follow the family.
Let's go.
Salo showing up with legacy love. Pastor Oliva. Oh, my gosh.
P. Vic. Yes.
Thank you, P. Vic. Oh, my gosh. You'll kill me for not remembering that. But P. Vic showing up with the kids. Listen, I'll bless all of y'all. I'll bless you guys.
Put some kombuchas in the. Do you if you were to be a lead pastor, would you put kombuchas in the VIP bags and like the boxes or anything?
All day. Are you kidding me? I've already processed all of that before. Kombuchas man. And are you kidding me? I've got the perfect bars too. All day.
That's fun. You'll have a fit church. I'll tell you that. If you heard about it, you'll have a fit church.
Listen, you bring me on. I want to do hit workouts with your team. That's all. Just call me up.
Get us in shape. Get us right.
Yeah, that's the ministry I'm about to start pushing here. That people just contact me to come train their teams.
There you go. You're a fitness evangelizing fitness.
Yeah, what's your name? It's what's his face's sister, Lorenzo. What's her
Jerry
name?
Lorenzo?
Angela? Yeah, Jerry Lorenzo.
No,
Lorenzo, his sister.
yeah, you're talking about Sammy Alonso.
Right? Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She was at the Mosaic conference. She was speaking there. She's a stinking fitness evangelist, right?
Yeah.
She's boss. She's so good.
She's like with Nike, she's doing her socks. Like
she comes out like, there's purpose for you. And she's like killing it.
Yeah, shout out to Mission Impossible.
Anyway, I'm done.
Man, fitness for the Lord. Thank you so much, for real. Thank you.
Thank you
for coming
Anytime.
on. Tell the family I said hello. Tell them I said hello. Tell Skylar I'm subscribing to his YouTube channel. I'll be at the front row of all his shows. Whenever he goes on tour, I'll be there. Like whenever he's opening up for Gavi and Lecrae.
Yes. So
yes. And at Fine Arts, I'll be there for him at Fine Arts
David.
too.
Thanks. Let's go. You're gonna be one of the moderators, or what do you call the judges?
Yeah, like Skylar, 10 before he even goes.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Forever fam. So anytime, right?
Yeah.